Hello class, so today we'll be doing proportional and non-proportional functions, and we're going to be looking at equations y equals 2x, y equals x plus 2, and we want to determine whether or not they're proportional or not. And so the way we're going to do this is we're going to put it into the table, and then we're going to see if x and y have the same ratio throughout our table. And I'll go into more what that means whenever we get it into our table. So let's make it easy on ourselves, and we'll do x equals 1, 2, 3. And to figure out what our y equals, we'll plug them into our equation. So 2 times 1, we get y equals 2. 2 times 2, we get y equals 4. And 3 times 2, we get 6. And so I said ratio. We want to set it up as y over x. Y over x. And we want to do that for all 3 points. And if we get the same value for all 3, then we know that y equals 2x is proportional. This table is proportional. So let's set the first one up. 2 over 1. 2 over 1. And then we're going to set it equal to 4 over 2. And then we're going to set that over 6 over 3. Well, we know 2 over 1 equals 2. We know 4 over 2 equals 2. And we know 6 over 3 equals 2. And so all 3 equal 2, giving us y equals 2x, a proportional function. And now let's look at the second one. We have y equals x plus 2. Again, let's make it easy. We'll do when x equals 1, 2, and 3. Then we'll plug them in. 1 plus 2, we get 3. 2 plus 2, we get 4. 3 plus 2, we get 5. And so again, we want to set it up as a ratio and see if it's constant. And so 3 over 1, because we have 3 in our y and 1 for our x, equals 4 over 2 equals 5 over 3. Well, we know 3 over 1 is the same thing as 3. And 4 over 2 is the same thing as 2, because 2 goes into 4 2 times. But does 3 equal 2? No, it doesn't. So, y equals x plus 2 is not a proportional function. It's non-proportional. And so we've taken 2 equations, put them into a table, and then determine whether or not they're proportional by setting up a ratio of our y over our x value. And if they all gave us the same value, it was proportional. And if they gave us different values, they were non-proportional. Okay, so what I went ahead and did is graphed each equation. Here's the same equation. We had y equals 2x. And then in our table, we had the points 1, 2, 2, 4, and 3, 6. And we determined that y equals 2x was proportional. And so here's the graph when I graphed it. And then our second function, we had y equals x plus 2. We had in our table 1, 3, 2, 4, 3, 5. And we determined that they were not proportional. So here's the graphs. And what I want you to do is take a second and do a rough sketch of these. They don't have to be perfect, as mine aren't perfect either. So go ahead and make sure you get these down. And then for your practice problem for tonight, is I want you to look at each equation that we've done, both tables that you put in your composition books, and the graph. And I want you to determine what's the difference in the equations, what's the difference in the tables, and then what's the difference in the graphs. What makes this side proportional and this side not? And so for your practice problem, difference in the equation, difference in the table, and the difference in the graph. And so I'll give you all a second to get these down, and make sure you go back to the table if you didn't write that down, and I'll see you tomorrow in class.